I wanted to do a video explaining exactly the tools we need every day on a metal standing seam job. Same goes with corrugated, but these are the essential tools you need to complete this job. I may have way more than you need to be safe, but these are all the tools required on a daily basis for a standing seam. As we go through the list, we like this system because everything locks in. We can put it in our truck. We have different boxes for different stuff, and the whole system is one box strapped up against the side of the van. It's very easy to move, wheels, move it to the job, break it all down, you have everything you need. So first thing starting off, the most important tool on a standing seam job is your drills. You know, the whole system goes together by clips and screws. So you obviously need drills to put the clips on. We have an assortment for as many guys as we need. We have plenty of batteries at all times, a 6-charger battery, just to be on the safe side. Then down the line, we have a grinder. The grinder is basically only used if we have a roof to wall with brick, chimney. If you have a chimney, you have to counter flash the chimney, just like a standard shingle roof. However, on standing seam, we grind into the chimney and we actually use the same steel bent over and counter flashed. So you have to have a grinder on every job in case there's a chimney. Now, rubber mallets. Rubber mallets are huge. You don't want to bend the panel as you're going down, as you're trying to lock it in. You could push on it with your foot, but you do run the risk of bending the panel. So we use these to knock in the clips and lock the panels together, and at the end, we cut each locking bracket at the end and we fold it over. You use these to hit the panel over, okay? Next on the list is your benders, okay? This is about $500. You have to order it online. They don't really sell it anywhere. We have a few different types of these. This seems to be the most favorite and easiest to use for the guys. It's a smaller version. They sell versions from Melco and a bunch of other brands that have 2 to 4 wheels on them. You can get, as you can see, you have about 6 inches of space to roll the metal up. And I will have a video of the actual presentation of the guy using this so you guys can see how this works. Next bender would be your hand bender, okay? Each panel is about 16 inches. You use this, you cut the locking brackets off. This is how you bend the panel over so that it can go around your drip edge. So I have a bunch of different ones because you never know what you're gonna need. You could just be doing a small custom piece where this will be too big to work with. So we have 10 inch, 12 inch, 16 inch, 20 inch, every size you need for the job. Obviously, goes without saying, a tape measure. The most important tool on this job for making sure you're lined up with your pipe boots. You have to check and make sure that the panels are going straight. Everything is running off the same. You don't want the end of the roof to have 6 to 8 inches at the top and 3 inches at the bottom. So as we're going through, we continue to take our measurements, check to make sure we're on track. And you have to kind of shimmy each panel to make sure at the end you have a perfect, aesthetically pleasing panel that is even at the top as it is at the bottom. Going down, we have Snips. Snips, there's a lot of different brands. I will put a list in the notes, but for the most part, you have Wiss, which is made by Crescent. These are very good snips. You have your rights, lefts, and your straights. These seem to be working really well. And another really big one with the guys are Midwest. The guys love these, and I'm not a big fan of these. I like Wiss a little bit better, but these are a good brand. You also have Melco. You have Milwaukee, Pittsburgh makes them as well. But anyway, the snips are essential because you have to cut each panel. And as you're cutting around pipe boots and cutting around certain things, you have to have snips to cut metal. Goes without saying. Next one on the list is our framer. So we use this 90% of the time for systems that we're doing roof overs on. It is a very fast, efficient way. We have a couple of them. The guys get up there with our 1x4s. We line them up on the roof. And this is how we keep your purlin systems down. There's a few different size nails, but this system has seemed to be the best for us. This is a metal circular saw. It's great for cutting Z-trim. If you have to cut cleat that goes on your valley, we use this. We can cut right through it. It's a lot easier. You wouldn't want to use this, obviously, on metal trim, but this is if we're re-roofing, you have to put plywood down, or for the purlin strips, you would need a circular saw to cut those down. On our list of hand benders here, these are more common with, you know, your fascia and your soffit, but at the end of every job, you would use these to clip the locking brackets in tighter. They open up. We got an assortment. This one's more for, you know, aluminum. It's great for aluminum coil. These are great for standing seam. You go to the end of the roof that bends around the drip edge, you get this on there, you squeeze down. It helps keep that nice and tight and keep its form so that over time, nothing can get under there and kind of push the metal out. It's very important that at the end of every job, you secure your standing seam. You lock everything in tighter. So we have an assortment of these on every job. Every guy has them. On every standing seam, corrugated as well, you will be using a rivet gun. This is the most common one that you have probably seen. The brand we have is Melco, but there is a lot of other brands that you can get. They are sold everywhere from Walmart to Harbor Freight for very cheap. Essentially, you have a rivet, you put it in, you drill a hole, you drop this in, this goes here, you pull the trigger, and it squeezes and holds the two pieces of metal tight. Why is this important? Because if you're putting ridge cap on, you would, at each end, you would drill a hole into the rake edge trim, and you would use a rivet to hold it down firmly. So aesthetically, it's sealed down and visually looks perfect. You want everything to be tight. You don't want things to be hanging up, lifting up, sloppy. The ridge cap, as it goes down, you want to rivet each piece together so that one piece isn't sitting higher than the next. Metal is not forgiving. It will lay the way it wants to lay. When you order this trim and you order rake edge trim and you order ridge vent, all those things, you know, you could be off depending on each job you're doing. There could be adjustments that have to be made. These make sure that everything is sealed down tight. These are a huge part of metal roofs. As you can see here, we have cutters. Now on top of your, you know, you have your hand snips, which most of you have seen, but on top of it, we have here a Milwaukee double cut shear. This thing is huge, and this is the Milwaukee nibbler. This is more for a flat piece of metal if you have to cut it. This is more for the standing seam panels. And this is huge because at the end of every roof, you're never gonna land perfectly symmetrical on the roof. At the end, you will always have a panel that you have to cut short, and you will have to use that roller that I showed you earlier to roll a lip up. Just like the panel is printed out of the machine, you have to get that cut when you cut the panel to 3 inches or 10 inches, however you got to cut it down to. The goal is to roll the edge back up so that it locks into your rake edge trim and you have no moving parts. No water can just run off and go into the side of the homeowner's home. So those are huge, and they're only used once. They're used at the end of the roof. That's when you would need those cutters. You cut the whole panel down, you roll the lip, and you slide it in for the finishing touch. We have a whole case of every color that we have available to you guys in standing seam. We have a case of rivets here and a whole assortment of colors. Along with trim nails, we have copper, black, blue, white, every color metal roofing. We have all of your rivets, your trim nails, and here are the screws that go through your Z-trim at your ridge vent. You can see here they have a rubber washer on them. They're just like the ones you use for corrugated metal roofing. They have a rubber washer, you screw it in, and that seal gets locked down. Now, because these are underneath your ridge cap, they will not have the life expectancy that they have on a corrugated metal roof, which is only 10 years. They last much longer because they're not getting worn and torn, they're not getting put to the elements. Every single crew should have a bit box. So here we have a box with all the bits that we could possibly need. Most common one that we do use on this job is a square bit. All of our screws are put together with a SQ2 square bit. That is what the screws lock into. So you would need a case of those to lock these panels in. Now, some companies will give you star bits, which would be like a T25. We usually get the square bits. And that's been the most common so far. You would need a 1/4-inch bit as well for those screws at the top of the ridge cap. That is the most common thing, extension bits. And then there's one other bit that we use. I do not have it available in front of me, but it is the most common one we have to use for snow bar. And that is it's basically an Allen key. And we buy the bits in bulk so that when we put the snow bar on, we can crank them as tight as we can to your panel and it'll lock on, making sure that it's a forever hold. One of the last things on our list here today is a hole saw kit. Obviously, you know, you have pipe boots, you have vents and stuff for your bathroom, you have exhaust vents for your furnace, for your water heater. In order to put a panel around that, you have to cut a hole and drop it over it. So, two options. You could punch a hole through it and cut it with your snips. You could punch a hole with a hole saw, or you can drill a small hole and this tool will set into the hole and you spin it around while it's connected to your drill and it'll drill whatever size hole you would like. Then you drop it around your pipe or your exhaust vent. You put the pipe boot on, you screw it, secure it. So as you see here, it is a large amount of tools. We have sealer. You're going to go through at the end of every job and properly seal down everything that you have done. Any spots where there are screws, your pipe boots will have to be sealed down. Your Z-trim, even though it gets butyl tape, we like to go around the back ends and seal all the Z-trim on the back side of it. So these are huge. This makes it very easy on the hands. This is just an everyday caulk gun we use here. So now down to my favorite and the most important tool for any job. It doesn't matter if you're shingling or you're doing standing seam. You have to have it. The Milwaukee radio, okay? This is a must. If you do not have a radio, I cannot work. So this is important. This does not leave. We do not leave the shop without this radio. Every single job you have to have a radio on. And last but not least, the blower to clean your property at the end while we're blasting music. So thank you guys, stay tuned. So if you made it to the end of this video, guys, thank you for watching. As always, we took a lot of time and pride in this video. If there's something we missed, leave us a comment. Let us know if there's a tool that maybe you like to use that I did not have in my inventory here today. I would love to know more about what you guys use and what your favorite tools are. If there is some content that you guys want to see or learn more about, leave a comment below. I will get it up and I will post it. And as always, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you.